If someone had told me that my life, my perfectly calculated, scheduled to the minute, boardroom orchestrated life, would be shattered by a little girl in a blue dress, I'd have laughed them out the door, you know what I mean? But that's exactly what happened, and if I close my eyes, I can still see that morning clear as day, the crisp bite of city air, the polished glass of Richardson Enterprises catching the first light, my mind already racing through quarterly projections and mergers before the sun had even hit its stride. I remember walking, the usual click of my shoes on the pavement, and thinking nothing could touch me. Not today, not any day, really. I was John Richardson, CEO, master of my little universe. And the world moved when I pushed. But that day, rounding the last corner, I caught something out of place, a tiny flash of blue and pink, two little girls, huddled just outside the rush of power suits and ambition. The older one couldn't have been more than 7, but she stood like someone who'd forgotten how to be a child, shoulders squared, eyes locked onto mine like she'd been waiting all her life for this moment. And just behind her, a smaller one, for maybe, hanging on to her big sister for dear life. Something about their stillness made me stop. I mean, in my world, everything is always moving, always hustling. But there they were, frozen, and when she stepped forward and asked, "Sir, could you spare a couple dollars?" It wasn't the words that knocked the wind out of me. It was how she said it. Not desperate, not rehearsed, just real, like she was stating a fact, not begging for help. And for a second, I froze. Me, the guy who stared down billion-dollar investors without blinking. Because there was no angle here, no negotiation, just this kid, looking up at me with a kind of courage I'm not sure I've ever known. I don't even remember reaching for the teddy bear in my briefcase, some stupid promotional thing for our new children's line, but I pulled it out, crouched down, and said, "You can take this bear, or you could come work for me." It was a joke, a way to keep distance, to give her something without getting tangled in feelings I didn't want to deal with. But the older girl, she didn't miss a beat, didn't look at the bear, didn't smile, just said, "I'll work. I need to feed my sister." Right then, everything inside me tilted. I've had competitors try to break me in boardrooms, but nothing prepared me for a kid choosing responsibility over comfort like it was the most natural thing in the world. I had to look away, pretend to fix my sleeve, hide the sting in my throat, because that answer, it just shattered all my rules. This wasn't pity, wasn't manipulation, it was just life, unfiltered, staring me dead in the face. So I told her to come with me. We walked through the glass doors. Me, the immaculate CEO, with 2 street-worn girls holding my hand and coat. And I swear you could hear jaws drop in the lobby. My people froze mid-conversation, but I barely noticed. Inside that elevator, heading up to my world of polished leather and quiet power. I tried to pull myself together, but every time I looked at her, Sophia, I'd learn. Her eyes told me this wasn't a problem to solve or a PR stunt to spin. This was something real. And for the first time in years, I felt completely out of control. We sat in my office, the 3 of us, in a room meant to impress kings, and I asked her, "Why were you out there?" Sophia's answer was quiet, but it cut deeper than any boardroom critique. "Our aunt is sick. We don't have money for food." I try to find ways to help. No drama, no complaint, just reality. I wanted to throw money at the problem, offer them a safe place. But one look at her told me charity was the last thing she'd accept. What she wanted was respect, a chance to be useful, to stand on her own. I handed her the teddy bear, then realized how empty the gesture was. She didn't need a toy. She needed someone to believe in her. So I did something wild, even for me. I told her she wouldn't be a worker. She'd be my advisor, help us build things that matter for kids, tell me what's right, what's wrong, help us do better. And you know what? She just nodded, measured, like she'd already weighed every risk and found it fair. That's the moment everything shifted, not just in my office, but in me. Suddenly, every deal, every boardroom victory, felt small compared to what I saw in that little girl's steady gaze. It didn't take long for the whole company to feel the tremor. My assistant Claire, eyes wide, cleared my schedule without a word. Executives gawked as Sophia and her sister Lily, by now I knew their names, became daily fixtures in my office, reviewing toy designs, giving blunt feedback no consultant ever dared. Sophia would sit by the window, clipboard in hand, demolishing our so-called fun concepts with a single, honest sentence. This looks fake, like something adults think kids want. And Lily, giggling from my chair, would chime in, needs more pink. The atmosphere changed. For the first time, creation felt connected to real lives. Not stats, not markets, but people. Departments started collaborating, silos broke down, and in the middle of it all, two little girls were rewriting the DNA of an empire. But the board wasn't having it. Whispers turned to pushback. Investors got nervous. Directors questioned my focus. The usual power play, all built on fear of losing control. I let them talk. Let them wave their charts and projections. But when I asked, when was the last time you talked to a child about what they want? The room fell silent. For once, they had no numbers to hide behind. I brought Sophia's drawings to the table. Playgrounds without dead ends. Toys that invite discovery. Spaces where nobody feels left out. They didn't know what to do with that, with the raw, honest truth staring them down. I made it clear, our future wouldn't be measured in profit margins, but in the lives we touch. At home, things shifted too. My penthouse, once a monument to sterile success, turned warm and real. Cereal bowls and giggles in the kitchen, crayon drawings on the wall, tiny footsteps waking me before dawn. Sophia's voice became the heart of our design meetings, her questions leaving execs fumbling, Lily's laughter melting even the most hardened faces. The resistance outside grew, but inside, something real was taking root. One day, Sophia handed me a drawing. "It's a home where no one ever feels stuck," she said, and I swear, it hit me harder than any million-dollar deal. The twist? That change, what started as a disruption, a PR nightmare, became our greatest strength. Employees brought their kids to work. The listening garden Sophia imagined went from sketch to reality. Community projects bloomed where there used to be just spreadsheets. Even investors, drawn to the authenticity, started to see long-term value in what we were building, a company with a soul. And the public, they didn't just buy our products, they believed in our purpose, because we'd stopped selling and started listening. The real climax came not in a boardroom, but on the opening day of that first listening garden, a space born from a child's dream, filled with laughter and quiet corners for honest conversation. I stood among families, not on a stage, and told our story, how a choice between a teddy bear and a job taught me more about leadership than any MBA ever could. It wasn't applause I wanted, it was the nods, the faces that told me we'd finally started building something that mattered. So here's where I leave you. No clean ending, no credits rolling. Just a man, two little girls, and a city changed by the simple act of listening. You want to talk about legacy? It's not in the towers you build, but the lives you touch, the spaces you create for others to thrive. You might think all this is just sentiment, but I promise you, one honest question from a child will teach you more about success than a lifetime of quarterly reports. So what do you think? Really, should leadership be about control or about listening? What would you have done standing on that sidewalk with a choice in your hand? Drop your thoughts below. Let's talk about what it means to build something that lasts, something that's truly worth fighting for.